Good evening. It is evening here, 6:30 or so. Anyway, this video is in response to Runeslinger's video about initiative and losing initiative. Now, as a person that's done both role-playing games and historical miniatures gaming, I can tell you initiative is pretty important, especially in historical miniatures gaming. There have been all sorts of ways as to who goes first and who does what, and so on and so forth. And it is important, but I would like to start by going back and just basic. This is, to me, this is what happens during, say, your A basic infantry patrol. This could also apply to a dungeon party. When you're out there poking around and you're on the sharp end of the adventure, if you will, or the sharp end of the bayonet, looking around, there's three ways that you encounter the opposition. The first one is they ambush, surprise you. It's actually ambush / surprise you. The second way, and by the way, it's no particular order, is you ambush / surprise them. Usually this is the optimal, at least for your survival. You have, in effect, got the drop on them. Or third, you both surprise each other. You go around the corner and, oops, where the hell did all them orcs come from? And the orcs are all going, where the hell did these people come from? Much confusion as everybody works quickly to sort things out. And it's important to keep that in mind. And that's what I think is very important. Now, there are a number of different ways mechanically to do this. Depending on the genre and the game mechanics themselves, obviously. You can do things like just roll for initiative. Boy, isn't that a classic. Roll for initiative! And everybody else in the party is going, and all the party members are going, oh, crap. To quote Boromir in The Fellowship of the Rings, oh, great, they've got a cave troll. But, you roll and you hope you can make good enough. You usually can, unless you're caught completely flat-footed, which can happen, which is up to the game master. Now, in something like historical miniatures, it's a different bag of beans because you have the structured turn that you go through. Both sides roll for initiative, highest initiative. Usually, you have the choice. You can move first, or you can move, have your opponent move first. And you go from there. Again, depending on what's happening on the tabletop. In role-playing games, though, I have seen dozens of different types of initiative. The intuitive storytelling type. The whole, roll for initiative using various kinds of dice with various sorts of modifiers as to who goes first. I think in terms of that, probably my favorite is Savage Worlds. When it hits the fan, everybody is dealt a card from a standard 52 card deck. And it goes in, including the non-player characters, especially the bad guys. So you go in order of the cards you draw. And this is done every combat cycle. More cards are dealt, so you don't really know when you're going to go. So you best make you should make the best of it. You also have something in there called a hold. You just flip your card over. Now what this means is on the next cycle you don't get a card, but you do get the ability to interrupt because you're holding a card. You go, okay, that's, I'm interrupting. I like this best of all, I think, for role playing games. It's one of my all time favorites, just like Savage Worlds. And that's what I like mechanically. Now, in terms of initiatives of the players keep going, I think that's very important. I think it's very important to, uh, for them to get the initiative, for them to, you know, what is it? The Romans used to yell, "Carpe diem," seize the day. Um, and that's a pretty good thing. Uh, but mechanically, the Savage World system with the 52 playing cards, you know, cards deck is fun, and I like that probably the best mechanically. Now you can also adjudicate and say, well, you got the drop on them, especially if they do. You turn the corner, there's orcs, say a half a dozen of the big ugly devils with their backs turned to you, or they're goofing off or whatever, playing pinochle, whatever it is orcs do to goof off. Oh, there's a scary thought. And bam, especially if you've heard them already and you hear the noises and you turn the corner and they're there and they don't see you. You've got the advantage, you've got the initiative, hold it. You know. And this is also important because you're going to have reactions. You're going to have some guys are going to say, well, let's get everybody up here. And then you're going to have other guys that are not going to want to wait for the archers to show up and feather the archers. Just going to let out a scream and you charge right into the middle of them and that sort of thing. So you kind of got to figure out what you want to do. And I think that does depend on your characters. But overall, initiative is important. It's important to keep it going. Combat is a feature of these games. Um, and once it becomes life and death, even for the player characters. And especially if you do stuff like if you play Call of Cthulhu, it's going to be very important for for the player characters. What order am I going? Oh, well, you get to go first. Fine, I'm headed for the door. I always give people that opportunity to decline. And the same thing with the example of the orcs. You could just go, we really don't need to engage these guys. Let's keep moving. It's going to be interesting. That'll make for an interesting situation. Anyway, that's my response. Thank you, Runeslinger. You run a great game. You are just make great videos. And I hope this is helpful to anybody. Okay, thank you, everybody. And remember, have fun, play a game.